In this today's tip of the week, I'd like to share with you 7 mistakes people make when they're applying to become a US citizen. I want you to have the quickest route to citizenship possible, and using these tips to help you in your immigration journey will help you with that. I'm Andres Mejer. I'm an immigrant and an immigration attorney. I came to the US as a child and learned English by watching Sesame Street. My family paid an immigration attorney $5,000 and they did nothing for us in the 80s. It's a heck of a lot of money back then. It's probably more than 10,000 today. We lived in the US without legal status for almost 10 years. I experienced the fear, stress, and worry that many of my clients now go through during that time, albeit indirectly through my parents. I was lucky enough to get a green card through Amnesty, and then I almost lost it because I didn't understand all the rules. I put myself through law school, opened my own firm to help immigrants like you. I run a successful law firm with 4 locations in New Jersey. We have clients in over 18 states. I've helped over 3,914 people with their immigration issues, and I've reached over 1 million people with my immigration videos on YouTube. I have 2 kids, Noemi and Marcelo. We live in New Jersey with my wife, Kimberly, who's also an immigration attorney, and we met in law school. My parents live near me, and although we can now live without fear of deportation or ICE knocking on our door, I do what I can every day to help free others from those feelings. If you need help in your immigration journey, call us. If we can't help you, we won't take your money. On to our tip of the week. There are 7 common mistakes to avoid when trying to get your citizenship. 1, don't rush through the application. We've seen many people who rush through the application, and when they do this, they don't answer the question fully or completely because they think they know what the question is asking without fully reading the question. USCIS put a policy in place almost 2 years ago that if there is a problem with your application, they can outright deny the application. They used to send you a request for evidence or a notice of intent to deny. Nowadays, they could just flat out deny it, period, without actually sending that. Before, like I said, they used to send a request for evidence or a notice of intent to deny. Now they don't need to. This causes you not only to lose your time for that process, but also to lose your money because they take your fee without giving you an opportunity to fix it. USCIS does not need to return your money because they denied your case. So now you have to start again and pay for the full fee again, or appeal it, which is, you guessed it, another fee. And that can take you more than 2 years for the appeal, whereas refiling it is usually faster. I say usually because there's nothing really fast today. 2, don't hope the USCIS has all of your documentation on file, so you don't need to submit it to them again. Yes, I've said this before, USCIS and all government agencies share information. USCIS probably does have a file with your information in it somewhere. They usually have more than one file. However, USCIS requires you to submit all the information again, and they will compare what you provide to the documents that you've previously submitted. To help with this, I recommend you start a file at the beginning of your immigration journey. Keep copies of everything you submit, including all applications, in that file. When you start to file out the N-400 for a citizenship application, it's a whole lot easier to refer to the documents that you have in this file rather than trying to gather them all over again. You can, however, file a Freedom of Information Act request and ask for immigration to give you all of their documentation, but that can take months. 3, don't send in a messy application. This one may seem silly, but make your application as neat as possible. If you can, type it on a computer. This helps USCIS to process faster because they can read it and they clearly show why you deserve to be a US citizen. It's a whole lot easier to show that if they can actually read. If your handwriting is like mine, believe me, you got to type it. 4, don't forget to keep a copy of the N-400 that you send in. Anytime you send anything to USCIS, you should always keep a copy. Mark that with the date you sent it, and then keep any follow-ups from USCIS, including the receipt notice for the application, or a biometrics application, or request for evidence, or a notice of intent to deny. This will help you at your interview and make it so you can prove to USCIS that you sent the required documentation in case they lose it. Unfortunately, they do sometimes lose things, or I should say, it never quite finds itself to the right officer at the right time. 5, don't send your application in via regular mail. If our office sends anything to the government, we always do it via trackable mail. If you're submitting your own application, I recommend you do the same thing. Again, USCIS has been known to lose things. If you use trackable mail like Federal Express, DHL, UPS, or even United States Postal Service, do it so that you have a receipt so that they have to sign for it. That way, if you keep a copy of what you filed and you have proof that they signed for it, well, now you know what they signed for, now you know what they got, and you're in a much better position to prove that you did what you were supposed to do. 6, don't file too early. There are time requirements for when you can apply to become a US citizen. This is based on the status you had for the underlying green card application. If you send it in too early, it will be denied. We've even heard 4 people who sent it in too early and they were denied and then had to wait longer to apply than if they had to apply at the correct time. This is because it took so long for them to process it. I know you're excited to become a citizen, so you can file 90 days before the 3rd or 5th anniversary of getting your green card. So it's typically 5 years unless you're married to a US citizen, you got your green card through that marriage, and you're still married to that spouse. In that case, you can file it for 3 years. But you can file the application 90 days before that anniversary. USCIS has an early filing calculator on the website that I'll link to at this link below. Look at your green card and find the date you became a lawful permanent resident. Go to that link and enter your permanent resident anniversary date. They will show you the earliest date you can apply and that USCIS will accept. If you apply before that date, they will deny your application. 7, don't forget to tell USCIS about any issues you had with law enforcement. Many people think that if they get a traffic, they don't need to tell USCIS. They figure, it's no big deal. I paid for it. It's no problem. Let me give you an example. New Jersey DUI is a traffic ticket. So some traffic tickets can have serious consequences. You get a DUI and file for citizenship, you're going to have some explaining to do, and they could very well deny you as an alcoholic or a habitual drunkard or just not a good moral person. That isn't true for immigration. Any interaction with law enforcement, including traffic ticket, must be disclosed to USCIS. So it's not the case that a traffic ticket does not have consequences. The N-400 asks you for any convictions. It asks you for any felonies or misdemeanors, any law enforcement contact whatsoever. You're going to have to describe and provide information. You can get a traffic a history abstract from whatever states you lived in to document any motor vehicle history, as well as you can do an FBI check for any criminal background, as long as it wasn't expunged. If it was expunged, well, I hope you kept a copy of the complaint for expungement and the order and any additional documentation pertaining to that arrest. If you didn't do that and you didn't use an attorney and you can't get it from the courts, you may have to go file to undo the expungement in order to get the documents that you need in order to respond to the N-400, the immigration. It's crazy, but no immigrant should ever file for an expungement until after they become a US citizen. Be sure if you have any traffic tickets, you have all the information that you submit to USCIS and you bring it to your interview. Otherwise, your case could be delayed. I hope you find this tip of the week helpful. We post these every Friday night on YouTube. If there is something you'd like a little more help with in your immigration journey, post it below. We may discuss it in an upcoming video. And if you decide that the stress of doing this alone is too much and you want someone else to take it on for you, call us. We can't work with everyone who calls us, but if we can help you, we won't take your money. Give us a call today. Stay healthy and be well.